Hey, welcome back everyone. You're watching Centerline Designs. My name's Cole if you're new to the channel, and yeah, we are back on this Snowcat project. So lately I've only been working on this thing a few hours here and there, been mainly focusing on outside projects, but I do have some footage together, so I would like to show you that in this video. So the few things we're going to be working on in this video is we're going to be machining a brass fitting for an oil pressure sensor that goes on our Volkswagen turbo diesel. We're going to be continuing working on this cowling. It's not quite fully completed, but it's almost there because that needs to be done to get the engine running. And then finally, we have some exhaust pipes that we're going to wrap with fiberglass because the goal is to try and keep as much heat out of this engine bay as possible. So if you think those things are going to interest you, just keep watching and I hope you enjoy the video. All right, since this episode is dedicated to getting this engine in and running, we have several things that we need to address. One of them is our oil pressure sensor. The factory one I won't be using. I'm going to use an aftermarket one for the aftermarket gauges. And the sensor from factory is an M10 by 1 thread, straight thread. And the aftermarket sensor uses a 1/8 NPT. So I'm going to go ahead and take a piece of hex stock brass, machine it down for an M10 by 1 thread, which I'll use just a die to put the thread on because I don't have any single point threading inserts right now. And my old lathe doesn't do metric. And then we'll go ahead, drill the hole we need, and put an NPT tap NPT threads in there. All right, well, back working on the Snowcat here. It's definitely been quite a while, but I want to work on this intake, get the intake piping done. I left this project not knowing what I wanted to do with the intercooler. I was planning on using the factory intercooler, mainly because it has the map sensor port, but it just doesn't want to fit in here. I'm not happy, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and leave the intercooler out. It's mainly a winter vehicle. It's gonna be driving in, you know, freezing, below freezing temperatures. Would the intercooler help? Yeah. Do turbo diesels not have intercoolers? Yeah. This engine is oversized for the pumps I'm using anyways, so even if the intake temps are a little high and it doesn't produce all the power it should, it's really not gonna matter. So I'm gonna leave them out. Leave the intercooler out. Makes everything pretty easy. So I'm going ahead, I'm trying to do this piping work with the back of the cab out of the way, just because then I can access the engine pretty well. And I'm going to use a factory hose down there to a 90-degree silicone coupling, and then that means I just have a short section of tube from there to this other factory piece. So on the air filter side, I can take this factory 90, shorten it up a little bit, because right now it hits, and that's going to come up right into here. Boom. Air filter right on top, while the mass airflow will be in there too. And I'm gonna put a map sensor port, I think, right down on here. We got two sensors to incorporate in all of this. The map sensor, which is manifold air pressure, and the MAF sensor, manifold air flow. Not gonna be hard. One requires a little bit of TIG welding, the other one really just goes in between couplings, so. All right, well, this is the only section of aluminum boost tubing we have, and one end has, I don't know what you call it, like a bead rolled in it. And you see that on boost tubing so that when you put the clamp on, it can't blow it off. Now, since I only have one end I need to do that on, I really didn't feel like buying the tool for that, so I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna go ahead and put some nice spot welds on here, built up a little bit in 3 locations around the tube. And that's gonna be enough. This isn't a high boost engine really anyways. So once that goes on and the clamp goes on, those 3 tack welds are gonna hold that on. And that's all we gotta do. The other side of the turbo with the air filter, that's the intake. So it's actually suction. It doesn't require this, even though I'm gonna be using the same tubing. Well, I forgot to turn the camera on for the other ones. But there we go. 3 little spot welds. That's all we need. That's gonna be it for the intake piping for now. From here, it'll come up 90, the MAF sensor and an air filter will be there, but for now, that's all the fabricating we need to do. So this is our boost air. It's a little bit of a hodgepodge. This was a factory piece to a silicone 90, to a straight pipe, back to some factory piece that fit. So, yeah. It's a little ugly, but it does what we need, and nothing rubs. It clears, so it's perfect. All right, now I gotta put a port right in here for the manifold air pressure sensor since we're not using it in the intercooler. The next thing is this cowling. Although it's not directly related to the engine, it needs to get done. It holds the rad, and I'm not going to put it together to test fire the motor and then take it all apart, drain the cooling system to come finish this cowling. So we're going to work on this. It's probably going to take a little bit, but that's okay. But what I want to do is put in a U-shaped piece here that then comes up higher, and the hinge will roll over that, and that U will be open end to end, so that although the roof overhangs this, if water, a driving rain gets into there, then it's just gonna drip out where it can't get into the vehicle. So ignore that. This is kind of what I'm looking to do. The hinge will go right here, and then the lid will come down, and then that'll allow it to pivot on this point. The lid will pivot up. But this little U on the back will be like a rain catch, the drip rail. the next part to work on here is going to be the outside, and then we'll put some expanded metal and guard off this rad. And I think it'll look really good. So yeah, got this marked up. Need to get some mending done. Well, as you can tell, just kind of making this up as I go here. This is also going to be a removable panel. And then we'll have some expanded metal here, a flat side, and it'll bolt on the front and then bolt up to a flange here and one down here. And I think that'll be a nice guard and kind of hide the rad. So pretty happy with that. All right, well, this is looking really good. I'm really happy with it. It still needs to get all of its bolt locations, but we need to make some tabs, some hidden tabs that we can through bolt into. We'll put some nut inserts in. So I have the stuff cut up. I'm gonna get it bent and you'll see what I mean. There we go. Those will go in. Through bolt in. Yep, that's better. Alrighty, well, with those items completed, next step is to move on to wrapping this exhaust pipe. Alrighty folks, I think that's going to be enough for this episode. If you're enjoying this content, please give me a like, hit the subscribe. Don't miss out on the future videos to come because we're just getting rolling. We've got a lot more on the way. Thanks for watching. Cheers.